Please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Cindy, I think we're going to get you taken care of first.
I was just going to recap the review from the comprehensive plan. So the town of Rockville sent out requests for proposals to do an updated comp plan. There was one proposal received. The committee reviewed that. That was from American Structure Point, and they were actually the same firm that did the 2015 plan. So I believe the committee would like to make a recommendation to the council to select the firm if the Okra planning grant comes through.
I'll move to go with Structure Point for our comprehensive plan.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't look, I'm sorry. Okay.
All right, thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome. And unless, Park, do you need me to review where we are with the water?
Well, you might. I'm not sure all the board heard that. Yeah, we received the grant for the water project, and what's our next steps, Cindy?
So right now, we're in the phase for environmental review. So the record of all the environmental pieces have been provided to Brandy, that is here in her office. It was in yesterday's newspaper. So we have until March 30th to provide comment. Honestly, all of the work is being done where the existing system already resides, so we're not disturbing any new land. So honestly, we're just basically showing that we're not interrupting any environmental pieces. So after the 30th, and then the state of Indiana will have a review period for 2 weeks. Once that is completed, then you should be getting documentation to sign for the release of funds.
Okay, so that sounds like.
You're probably talking towards the end of April.
So by May 1st, we could have the funds have 18 months to complete. So say 5/1 funding, 18 months. We need to select an engineering firm, right?
Yes.
So that's something that I wanted to get out there tonight. We need to select an engineering firm for this project. Well, the PER was done.
Correct.
So,
But that's not the design.
but the design,
Is a separate.
part.
component of that.
Well, wouldn't it make sense to go with a firm that did the PER? I mean, they're the most knowledgeable.
That's up to you guys.
And have the
I mean,
quickest
that's-
turnaround to do that.
But you just need to engage them and have that conversation, engage them in a contract so they can start work.
Okay. Okay, so we should have that, probably do that in the next few weeks. Okay. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
That all you got? Mark?
Yeah, on that, yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I think we're good.
Roger?
Yeah, basically, I was here 30 days ago and was told in 30 days there would be improvements to the Memory Garden Cemetery, and I'm just here to hear what's been improved.
Okay.
Will?
Doug? Mark?
Mark?
Well, we have sticks have been picked up. We've cleaned the ditch, dug the ditch for the water to be drained. The leaves have been mulched. And we are in the process of trying to get topsoil so we can level grades. You have anything else to add, Mark?
No, we're working on it. Topsoil, people say it's gonna be at least a month out before they get any loaded, so. Like I said, we're working on it.
And the plan that we talked about at the cemetery meeting is, and we'll make some phone calls tomorrow and get that rolling, and is maybe looking into building a lean-to so we can put dirt, topsoil stuff in so it stays dry, so we can get on this stuff sooner, or even possibly year round. At least keep it level. But it's just when you're dealing with mud, I mean, it's freezing and thawing and mud. But so that's the plan. We're thinking about building the lean-to out there, so I'll get prices on that, and that'll sure help things out.
And then you were talking about some of this stuff.
Oh, yeah, we've purchased the seed. Kevin, let me find out what my paper is. I give that copy seed on price. Sure, thank you. Mark did the research and come up. There's prices on what that amount will do. $240 per grade. The second page is seed straw. That's the old one we've been doing, and then the back page would be the Scots that Kevin recommended. A video that Mark watched said that this hydro stuff actually takes a lot more watering,
So they say you gotta be on about every other day.
and that guy did a video on this hydro seeding and the regular seeding, and at the end of how long would you say it was?
Like 6 weeks.
6 weeks, the seed looked much better than the hydro seed. And it showed in the video and everything. So we can try it if the board wants. But that's up to them. They would like to try the hydro stuff. I say once we get topsoil and the weather, we're going to get on it and we'll get them all seeded, and straw's going to hold the moisture in. But there are prices on there of what that would do. They're all pretty close. Other than when you look at, see what is it? They'll do 33 grades on the hydro, and the other one will do approximately 200 grades. But if you use a little bit more and a little bit less on one, obviously it's so that's what we're.
What
planning.
your plan is?
I think the topsoil will help, other than trying to grow that seed in clay. I mean, everybody knows how hard it is. So,
Where are you
So-
getting it from?
the topsoil,
One of two places, either over at Montezuma or a place over at Kingman.
there's a new place in Kingman that's selling rock and stuff like that. We contacted, of course, we'd have to get an account with them because we don't have an account and everything. So, but I think that'd be our best bet. It's $25 a ton at Montezuma, and I think $15 over at
15 at Kingman.
Kingman. Of course, you'd have to go look at the difference and see.
Right.
And everything, and as soon as we can get on it, we'll get on it. We'll stay on it, and if possibly lean to, we hopefully won't find ourselves in this position.
Well, Roger, I'm sure you've been out there in the last 30 days.
I was out there this afternoon.
Yeah.
My issue is what we're gonna do with graves that date back to 2009, 2006, and 2010, on up through 19 and 20.
Well,
How are all those graves gonna be handled that are
sunken.
3 to 4 inches? They'll hold water on a 1 to 2 inch rain,
Well,
basically a hog wall.
Well, that's the
What-
topsoil we're talking about.
that's.
I mean, are you gonna go back and do all those graves?
Yeah, we're gonna go back. That's what the top.
That's
the
what my
topsoil
question
for.
is.
Yes.
It's just not the recent ones. You're gonna go
No,
back and
that's
do.
the topsoil. I
all
don't
of
want to put clay in them because it takes forever to grow. And
Yeah,
a loved one wouldn't want to come out there and see grass last week and then mud next week.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So,
You can't.
but as soon as we get topsoil and it's dry, we are going to get on it. I've told him I'll give him 2 or 3 extra guys and we'll get it knocked out. I got loved ones out there too, so I want to look nice.
Yeah,
So it's
no,
more.
yeah.
My mom and dad are out there, my sister. So
Your mother's on my list.
yeah. So, but
You got something to add, Kevin?
Well, the only thing I was going to say is that after the meeting, I took the liberty of contacting Justin Montgomery at Ultimate Green to see about, as we talked about fertilization, all that stuff. Anyway, I had a proposal, 4 treatments a year, like a weed control, and then fertilization, and then probably another fall treatment, and et cetera. After talking with Mark and his other guy, what's his name, Adam, what is it? Here's the problem. We can fertilize it, but if you fertilize like we fertilize our own yards, Roger, you'll be mowing that thing every 4 or 5 days, and that's fine as long as we've got the manpower and the money to do that. Justin suggested it was for $1,400, he would put a lime treatment down there, which will make it green. The other treatments are $2,000 a pop. I don't, maybe try the weed control first and then the lime and see what kind of improvement you get when the weather's appropriate, and then go from there. So you're talking an initial expenditure by about $3,400.
Well, you guys know what your budget is.
Now,
in
he
there, so-
also, a budget, what's this thing, budget called? Anyway, also included in that is, they do, they blow off all the tombstones. So if they get lime or they get whatever granulars on the tombstones, they go through and they blow it all off.
Well, yeah, I like the idea of minimizing weeds. I mean, less weeds, better chance the grass has to grow. I agree also with fertilizer. You know, we have a hard time keeping up certain times of year anyway with mowing, let alone trying to encourage it to grow even more. So I think the lime and the weed killer would be a good idea. So yeah, we need to, I think you looked at the budget, you brought it,
Yeah, I didn't bring it with me, I forgot.
you know, we had 5,000 in there, I think, for outside services. We usually do. We tried to do the grave groomers, but they, I think, passed away, one of them, so we aren't doing those. So we have some funds to do it, David. But yeah, well, thanks for that.
Yeah, and just so you know, the only, it's the new section and where the bulk of the graves are. The area immediately behind the middle section, like back towards the woods, and the section close to your office, that behind the Apostolic Church and all that, where it's just wide open. We didn't include that. There's no sense doing that right now. There's nothing out there, so. But the new section, where there are just maybe 2 or 3 graves, was included in the proposal.
Well, back to the dirt thing, man. I mean, Mark, every spring and every fall, you know, you should have on a schedule. You go look for graves that need good dirt. I mean, that's what I would do. You got to get them all in the fall and get them all in the spring, and that way you know they're done.
We do as we mow. We see them as we're, driving over the cemetery.
Well, that
When we get time, we get up there and we fill some of them.
it's going to be watched, I think, more than ever now. So I would.
And some of them won't stop settling either.
Well, I know there's been a problem with changing vaults. I've heard, but so they settle. We throw more dirt on them.
That's what we're trying to do.
Roger, you got anything else you want to add?
How you gonna be, the dead trees gonna be addressed in both cemeteries?
We are addressing the dead trees. I think a lot of them's been cut out. We're
We're
down to
taking 3 out of Memory Gardens and 2 out of the old cemetery.
How many more do we
Still a
have?
huge one up front on the southwest.
It's on the list.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's a huge tree.
Back-
It got hit by lightning about 12 years ago. It's a poplar is what it is.
Huh. Okay.
It's totally dead.
Back there by the cul-de-sac area, back there,
No, up front.
up front.
Yeah,
Front south section.
Yeah.
I picked up limbs bigger than my wrist out of that not too long ago.
Well, sounds like got some trees coming down.
It's on the list, but when you're limited to one guy that's a bucket man in trees, you kind of got to work around his
How
schedule.
many in the old cemetery yet?
We're probably only down to what?
2 or 3 probably.
Because they've been cutting out of there. We just cut another one not so long ago out of there. I mean, we do it when we got time, but I mean, Britain's got other stuff to do.
Well,
It's got power and lights and, it's...
okay.
Just got one more thing.
Yes.
How about the responsibility for the above ground vault in the old cemetery?
Yeah, we've been
That has
talking
steel
about that.
Stakes trying to hold it together.
Yeah. Have any insight? And what do you do when you have a situation? No family, immediate family apparently is close.
That goes so far back, there's not gonna be an immediate
Yeah.
family that's gonna claim that,
Mark?
You
even
know,
if they were related.
Yeah, that guy died in Ohio, and everybody in the family was already dead. He had a nephew someplace, and then when Mark and I talked about that, I mean, if you take it apart, try to bury those bodies, those coffins are going to fall apart. They're not. You're going to have a mess on your hands. I think it was discussed, and I have neglected to check the Future X about maybe trying those banding machines. They
Yeah.
do things of cardboard and all the cotton, whatever, the big metal things. They crimp it up, and then it's maybe you could cinch it up with that thing. But it's other than that, it's just. I mean, you can see. Take your phone, the flashlight. You can see the coffin in there.
The north side's only being held, that whole slide's only being held by about a piece about like that far, about 2 foot. The rest of it's out in the open.
So
Yeah, that's why I brought it to everybody's attention. It is an issue. There's a guy in Danville, we had out there one time looking at it, but I never heard from him since, so I didn't know, wanted to get that guy's name and get him back out there and look at it, see what he has to say, maybe he can.
Have you Googled vault restoration?
Well,
I mean,
he sells them and installs them, so he obviously knows a little bit.
I mean, is it possible, Roger, you looked at it, is it possible it could be taken apart and put back together? I mean,
That's what we'd be calling this guy for.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Well, that'd be my first thought. Expensive, but it probably lasts another 100 some years.
yeah, I would think if you got the right guy that knew what he was doing, you know.
Okay.
It's gonna be a major issue if it falls apart.
Yeah, well, by next board meeting,
Awful, but awesome.
yeah, Mark or Dave does.
We'll come up with a number, try getting called.
Yeah, by next board meeting, try to have us an answer on that. Get a count of the number of trees for sure that we need to take down, put that on our schedule for the summer. Yeah, what else? Trees, bulk, dirt.
The big tree over there at Memorial Gardens, is our bucket gonna be able to cut that all down safely?
You know, we were in that conversation, what, a year or so ago?
That poplar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. There was one we were questioning about.
It's not the
that I
ones that are like
think were
50
okay.
feet tall.
The ones out front that could reach.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, okay. Didn't know if we needed somebody.
I think he can do it. He's, like I said,
Good deal.
and I tell you, the thing will help Mark too is you know, it's been 10 years since he's had another guy, another full-time guy. When I started 28 years ago, there was 2 full-time guys. And then we get 2 summer help, and then we get people from the jail, and so now we got one of our new guys is taking interest in it. He's gonna learn, so then Mark's ready to move on to, I guess, bigger and better things and stay home. Adam will be able to take over a cemetery, and we'll be scrambling to find out. So that'll help him.
So who's that?
Adam Brown,
Adam?
he lives over on Harris Street. A young
Good-sized
man.
kid.
You know, he's motivated. You know, he's got a lot of questions and
That's good. He's
and everything. So,
on the learning.
and that's what we need. I mean, Mark's 60, 70.
So does that satisfy you, Roger, for
I
the
was
time
smacking
being?
in the back of the head.
As long as there's a plan and we're moving forward, that's all I care about.
We do have a plan.
Plan and move forward on it and make a move.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Brandy?
I have claims. I did change the total a little bit. There's a little bit of an adjustment, but Liddy was able to get the health departments down a little bit. So it's $722,173.89 on claims. If you have any questions on any of the other ones, you'll see that there was our second payment to infrastructure systems for the 41 North Sewer improvement. That was in the amount of $502,238.40. So it's a big portion of that claim total.
Yeah, it's about 25% of the total project out there.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh, hold on, I'm not
After
done.
park has to.
Yeah, just remind the board, you know, that's all being reimbursed through redevelopment commission. So it's just expenses flowing through. I guess Cindy's gone, but yeah. So that's nice. That 500 we paid out, but we get it back. Also, Brandy pointed out to me earlier we got second delivery of poles, $29,884. So that's done. That was a last year expense that well they didn't get here in time. So it'll be in this year expense. Other than that, that was that's it. You move. I'll
Is
second.
there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have the minutes from our March 6th meeting. You're in park represent, so if somebody else wants to make a motion on those, one of you guys.
I'll make it.
Thank you.
So do you want to second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The adjustments of $23,251.33, and this was 2 of the 3 meters at townhomes. So not to go into a a lot of back history detail on that, but we are doing the meters from a 3-inch to a 2-inch, so it's not usage of water. They've not even come close to the usage of a 2-inch nor a 3-inch. We're just adjusting back the difference of your base minimum on that.
And 2 of the 3 meters have been installed. The 2-inch, 2 of the 2-inch have been installed.
Yes.
We got one
have
3-inch.
One more that is what on order still, Doug?
No, we got everything to install it other than it took a different radio read head.
Oh, that's
So
right.
we're
Okay.
waiting on that. As soon as that comes in.
Okay.
No, it shows up Monday, we'll put the meter in Tuesday.
And as soon as we have it, and within the next meeting, we'll do an adjustment on that for the other meter, and that should take it.
Everything,
Okay.
all the parts are there, we're just waiting on it.
Okay.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I sent out information on the salary ordinance for the linemen. If you guys want to have a discussion about that, not necessarily need a vote. I just need to know whether you want to do anything now or wait until those 8,000 hours have been completed, which will be effective September 1st.
Yeah. Golly. Which way to go on that? I'm inclined to go with when
Done,
I'm sorry.
when they're done.
When they're done, I mean, if we do anything now, it's not really in line with what we have in writing as far as we're paying this for this position, this certification. So we'd be out of violation. We'd be in violation of that. That'd be the simplest.
Does
Just my
anyone
thoughts.
have any objections to waiting till September 1st?
Anybody else want to comment?
I don't have any objections to waiting.
All right.
Okay.
How about
No,
Dana's
just a-
increase?
Anybody else talk about it?
I think I mentioned it today.
What's that?
Dan Gainers. Compensation.
Do what?
I don't think he.
This is new.
Lydia, you school us on this.
So apparently, he was supposed to stay under some cap,
Uh-huh.
but he's way, way under it, and so there was a request to increase his pay to $35 an hour. And he was still gonna be way under what his cap was gonna be.
We're at 25 now, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but we're dealing with salary ordinance again, so. I mean,
Well,
You know,
yeah, there's another.
If we have to wait and do it then, I guess we can do that at the same time.
Yeah, that is an oversight on someone's part back there, but yeah, let's just leave it be tonight.
I'll just say table. And we'll move on to the pep shots.
It's not my say.
Okay. HEPA shot.
Liddy took care of the shots for the new employees, so we've got that taken care of. That will be paid to the health department within the claims that you signed. And then, Liddy, I meant to ask you as well, the park board meeting, did you guys go over these from the Community Foundation, the annual disbursements?
I don't think we did.
Okay, I don't, I mean, the board actually would need to sign it, but I'm assuming that the park board's interested
And we-
in taking
yes,
the grant
absolutely,
expenses.
yes.
So I tried to call there today and, I got a message that they were closed. So I'll try to reach out to her tomorrow. Just want to make sure that my totals, but if my totals are correct, the Hayes Foundation has 7180. The pool has 1959. And the area incorporated had 1278 available for funding. So if everybody was on board to accept those disbursements,
We want to take the
annually.
hold on disbursements annually. Okay, 1959 be available to grant. Available to grant will be 1278. Okay,
they send that what is available to grant each year.
so we're talking about $1,959 to $178.
And
No,
7,000
you're available to
something.
grant is
Yeah.
this one here for that particular one.
Yeah. Oh, I missed a page.
Yeah.
7,180.
That one comes from the Hayes
Yeah.
to the pool.
Okay,
and
and then
then
this-
you've got that one there. I
So
just didn't
those-
have sign sheets on those.
So
I
those are the
wasn't-
three amounts we're talking about.
Yes.
And that's the park board.
Yes, and but I need approval.
I'll make a motion that we accept them.
Thank you.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
That's all I have for right now.
Okay. Well, Nick's not here. Can I talk for a minute?
Oh, of course you can.
Can we stop you?
Thank you. Well, just a couple things. I just want to hear the board comments on this. Well, okay. Ordinances, I don't know what we can do, but dressing deer in the front yard, that was something that's brought up recently. You should not be allowed to.
Again, somebody did
No,
that.
I think this past incident, but it came up because of the particular property is also an issue for other things. I don't know, we have an ordinance that states that we don't allow dressing of animals in front yards, but we need to have that.
We should probably include hanging them to bleed as well.
Well, yeah, I don't know how to word it, but that's something that you want to get Nick on. We want to get, does the board think we need to address that with our legal counsel?
Pre-processing, processing, or post-processing of game
In the front yard.
Is not
In the front or
acceptable.
side yard.
You can see mine from the side yard.
We'll put up a tarp. Do it at night. Anyway, that's something that was brought up recently, and more importantly, in that same neighborhood, demolition of an RV in your yard is, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right.
It's been there for months, hasn't it?
It's been there a while. I don't know how you even address that in an ordinance, but.
So we currently we can't have wrecked, dismantled, or inoperative trailers, campers, boats in the front and side yard. We don't have anything about the backyard. His is technically what I would consider the backyard because it's right by the garage behind the house.
Yes. Well, the whole purpose of that front and side yard so it wouldn't be visible from the street, but in an instance where the backyard is visible from the street, our ordinance apparently doesn't cover that.
And we could probably, I don't know, add language in there about making
Unless
it.
your backyard visible
Well,
from the street.
we need to do something. It's just not right. The whole, you shouldn't
Do
have.
we know why?
I don't know.
He's gonna make it into a flatbed trailer.
Oh, okay. Well, I love the ambition, but not in.
What if they could do it in a weekend?
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, anybody else on the board want to comment here? Am I being irrational?
No, you're not being irrational. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, we need an ordinance. I mean,
Okay. Well, you don't approve.
Talk to Nick.
That's what I want to
Can we
hear.
amend
Yeah.
the language in the ordinance
I believe-
currently, and then I can have that ready for the next meeting?
So if you look at it is 93.35.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Further on that same in the same area, do we go after the renters with fines? Is that correct? Is that
I think so.
we go after property owners and landlords, or the owners?
My understanding is we go after the renters. If the renters don't pay, then we go after the property.
Well, I definitely think the person that has interest in this more, the landlords. That's who you need to go after. The owner of the property. I'm referring to the property in the same street opposite, just east. Good Lord, it just. And I don't know if there's any violation there right now that we can go after, but
on
the other corner,
yeah.
Howard and Jefferson.
Yeah.
Well, Anyway, I don't know if there's any violation there. And another thing, this time it takes to get this stuff. There's no better way. Is there any better way?
Before we get too crazy on this.
Okay. Pull me back, Dave.
Well, if you're not gonna, if you're saying, okay, we're gonna go after the renters.
The heck with
if
renters.
the renters don't do it, then the land, that's not fair because.
What?
Well, I'm not saying that it's not fair, but there's got to be more to this than just going out, having Bill go out and tell them, clean up your yard or do whatever. If they decide not to do it, it comes on to the landlord. The landlord's out, for a dumpster or whatever. What's it take to evict somebody?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Well, okay.
You're not going to be able to just walk in and throw somebody out of their house, your house, because
So,
Well,
there
then
needs to be a
they-
little bit more meat to this.
They need to
is what
do
I'm
their
trying
due
to say.
process. My answer to the property owner is do your due process before you rent the property. Just don't be, itching to get a $500-600 check every month because it may cause you problems down the road, cost you a lot more than that.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but
It's just, we clean up one property, we have two more pop up.
You guys
Well,
talking
no,
about
it-
trash
it's-
buildup or lawn care and.
I mean, we've been through this with even lawn mowing. I mean, where the towns, we've kept track of it, and the only way to go after our money is to either file,
File
small
claims.
claims or get them in the tax. And, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we end up holding the bag on it. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, when we
But
assess
you know
it-
me, I'm all for
I know
cleaning
you're
up
all for
property.
cleaning up.
I mean,
But the other thing is when we assess these fines, do we go small and adjust upward the longer it goes on, or how are we doing it?
My understanding is the judge makes a ruling, and whatever the judge rules, that's what the,
We don't
We
do.
can make recommendations.
Well,
Right.
I don't even want to mess around with low end fines anymore. I want to go as high as we think we can. I'm tired of it. We want to make them feel the pain, clean it up, or get out.
I would say that would probably also depend on when you look at the penalty for each. If it's not where you want it, then you may have to bump the penalty up,
Well,
which would require that you go and change the ordinance.
right. Well, I'm just frustrated. We don't seem to be getting anywhere with cleaning up our messes, and it's not. It's just people just keep creating them.
So is
I know
that
you're
trailer
saying-
a mess? I mean, is it all over the place, or is he keeping it pretty cleaned up? And just
Well,
tearing
even
it
the
down?
It's an eyesore.
It's an eyesore, but I've not seen like a bunch of
insulation or anything.
insulation. It looks like he's tried to take care of it. Unfortunately, part of that I think's been burning part of it. And
Well, yeah, I understand, but you also understand somebody buys a piece of property, if he wants to tear something apart and build it. I mean, it's
Well,
his property.
My thought
He's
is
not got a camper all over his yard. I mean,
in any city or town, you have restrictions,
yeah.
and that's part of living in a community. If you want to live without restrictions, there's many, you live outside of town. I mean, that's kind of.
Well, I understand, but I mean, I think a guy, if he's tearing down a camper to build a trailer and he's keeping it cleaned up,
Well, we'll have to disagree. I just don't think that's something that neighbors have to look at. It's just not appropriate for a town. I just don't see it. I mean, my God, okay.
If you just get it done, it wouldn't.
Anyway, I beat that horse. I'll shut up.
nobody's arguing with you. Is what I'm
No,
trying
I
to say,
know.
but it's,
I know. It's
you
just
know.
very frustrating to see that kind of stuff. I'm done.
You're done?
It'll probably be
Right now.
done in the next couple of weeks.
for a couple minutes.
All right, Bill, you're up.
Something else here.
Are you gonna talk about this too?
He's got this camper over here.
Start with that.
I got an email today from Ford without looking at the vehicles, just going off their mileage and the model year, all that. They've estimated approximately $50,000 for trade-in for the 3 vehicles.
Seems pretty reasonable.
They've sent their appraisal vouchers. They said that they can write us a check and we can apply that however we want. We can, across 4 years, we can just pay most of the first year off. It's all dependent upon what we want to do with that $50,000. We don't even have to put it on the vehicles, but
Well, that'd be my first thought. Just receive the check and turn around and use it to help pay the $62,000 some dollars that we have to pay. I mean, what's your thoughts, Bill? I mean,
it's all going to come out one way or the other. So,
yeah. Anybody else?
I like it.
I agree.
Will you make a motion to apply that?
I'll do that. I make a motion to apply the
Thanks.
$50,000, estimated $50,000 received from the
It's in
trade-in
writing.
vehicles.
Well, just so when the check comes in, then I know what we're doing
Right.
versus,
Was
because
that
That's good.
I've got a letter here that Ford is going to need from us because they didn't give me until last week the total of the 4-year lease, making that payment $67,765.47. So if I could get a motion for that 4-year lease at 7.64 at an annual payment of $67,765.47.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So, Bill, this quick, we're doing a rotation every 4 years. That kind of your goal, rotate vehicles every 4 years. So the Tahoe's will be in 2 years. I think they'll be about 4 years old in another 2 years.
They're just a year
I thought
old.
your plan was to hold on to those Tahoes till the lease on the Fords was up.
Well, I guess that depends on what the town wants. We could trade them all in at once and then go through.
Well, I guess, a couple years we can look at it, see what the numbers are then. Okay.
Sorry, Bill. I just wanted to get that out of there, out of the way.
So you two weren't here the last meeting when I brought in the big stack of Nelson's receipts or invoices from 2019 to 2023. I made contact with them and asked them why they didn't send those out in a more timely manner. They said they did. When I took over, I advised them that anything that we had, not only were they to send it to me in an email, but also to Brandy. That way, if there was 2 points of contact, there wouldn't be any problem with the clerk not getting the invoice because we're both on it. They said they sent it. Neither myself nor Brandy received those invoices. I asked for more detailed invoices. They finally got most of those. I was able to shave off about $700 or $800 looking at we were billed extra for things and we didn't receive things that they were planning on us waiting on. So we just canceled anything that wasn't, and also I had them take off stuff. We had some holsters we traded in that they billed us for instead of taking that off and giving us credit. So there's 3 holsters that they billed us for, but we only had 1 holster, and just different things like that. And I told them we were having a meeting tonight and that I'd like to have that invoice so we could discuss that, and they said they would have it, but I just checked my email again and I still have no invoice.
So you don't have even a thought on what it is?
My estimate would be around $5,300 for 2019 to 2023, and most of that it was from last year when you guys approved the uniform changes and the badges and things like that. They did not send that through. I know I'd asked Brandy numerous times last year, have you got that invoice yet?
I don't know how the company can stand business.
I don't either.
But we have, as I told the board and I also told the police commission, we no longer use them. That's I think one of the reasons we got all those invoices was because we told them that we're done with them, cancel everything. We don't want your business. So we will not be going back to them again due to this problem.
So we'll just wait for the revised invoices for approval, right?
That's what we're waiting on.
What was the name of that vendor?
Wilson.
Nelson and Company.
Okay.
We have had 3 computers crash. They're kind of past their life expectancy. And we replaced one of them. And then I was speaking with Chris O'Brien from the EOC, and he got a grant. So now we have computers for each vehicle, and we have the mounts already for each vehicle that was paid for through a grant. The software's being installed, so we don't physically have them in our cars yet, but they'll be installing those mounts in the new cars. So
Tell Chris thank you.
I will. And then the other thing I had was Ordinance 2023-07. Ian made me aware that we do actually have a Ordinance 7202 that says you can't park where signs are erected near the school, but doesn't actually put out in writing that you can't park, on the streets that were mentioned in the 2023-07. So this 2023-07 basically makes it really clear that you're not to park there.
I need a motion for that amendment to that ordinance
I'll
as
move.
well.
Second.
All in favor?
Here's all the.
And then I only have one other thing. I told you at the last meeting, I know you guys weren't here, but that we were applying for a Walmart grant for the cages. So the Walmart grant, my understanding, goes up to $5,000. The cages are probably more about $8,000 to get both cages installed. So for $3,000, I can look and see about taking that out of like equipment upgrades.
So what are the
or a
cages
grant.
for?
We don't have them.
So
We separate the back seat from the front.
Really?
Yeah, no. Randy-
Okay.
Randy didn't do it.
So
Huh.
I believe having a cage in a car
Well, yeah.
not only protects the officer, but it also protects the town, because if somebody were to slip their handcuffs, which has happened in numerous instances, they can reach over and attack you while you're driving down the road, which puts the public in danger, puts the officer in danger. Also, a lot of times we'll respond to calls by ourselves, and we'll get a violent person, and it's a lot easier to get them to calm down when they're in that cage, where you can, separate them for a little bit, let them calm down, and then maybe reapproach them later. I'm sure you like your cage.
I don't have one.
Well, you had it.
I did.
Yeah.
I did like my cage.
So I think they're definitely a benefit to the town. But I can also look at maybe applying at different places for grants if you would like me to do that for the additional $3,000.
Well, do what you think you can, but yeah, you need a cage.
Just to be clear, also, the new cars will have them in them.
Yes.
This grant is to put them in the two Tahoes that originally did not.
Okay. And we already have one for the last car that we're keeping, my car. We're currently in the process of going and picking one up here in the next couple of days.
Thank you, Bill.
Is that it?
That's it.
Well, I just like, congratulate Bill, another month below budget, about 1,000 below budget on fuel use. That's good job.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Doug?
Well, this week, the new guys and a couple of us veterans finished the OSHA 10 training, so everybody should be through that class.
Fascinating.
So what do you learn there? I mean, we don't wear. How are we compliant most of the time? We don't wear vests.
We are wearing vests.
We're wearing vests.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
That's one thing. When after Dave contacted me and everything, I had asked them all to put vests on. We ordered hard hats.
Do we wear metatarsals? Do we have metatarsal requirement for shoes?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I've never seen anything that requires us steel toes. The only thing that a few years ago was told with like the vac machine we should have shock-proof boots. Just not exactly like the lineman, but because you came back to a power line.
Well, basically, you learned about being in compliance.
Yeah, what you should do, how to respond to an accident, there's certain ways, and they've sent Brandy information, which she's emailed it to me on charts I can print off for an accident.
Well, what about handling raw sewage and such?
I would recommend goggles.
We have the shields,
That
the N95 mask.
Yeah.
We wear gloves and everything. But yes,
Okay.
so
To protect yourselves.
yeah,
Okay.
because that Legionnaires was no fun.
No.
So, of course, they mentioned earlier we got the shot started. Dave found us another rock, so we went and picked up. It is quite big. It's still on a trailer. We will be, I think, unless you guys have somewhere else. I was thinking about putting it in front of Asbury's office.
Okay.
That won't be installed until our digger truck is back online, because that's how we're going to set it.
So what's the status on that cylinder?
He's had it for going on the second week, so not heard anything from him. So hopefully this week or first of next, it'd be nice. Because he had the kit, we already had the kit ordered, So he should have all the parts and everything. So, but yeah, we'll get the rock in as soon as that is. It won't fit in the bucket of the backhoe very well, so I don't
No.
think we can set it very easy where we like it. So, electric department did get the CTs and PTs installed for the 3-phase metering at the water plant. We did have a primary outage down at Bill Brown's lift station, which caused the electric meter to blow up. Yeah.
Wow.
First time in 28 years I was 5 feet from it when we were working on it. Yeah. It was blew the lid right off the meter
Boy.
and everything. Just because an insulator over on 41 broke when it come down, it crossed 2 power lines and sent 7,200 volts to it when it's not capable for that. It literally blew. Our lift station was down. That's what we were checking before we realized exactly what had happened. So they were able to find a meter, because it's a special meter, but we are going to have to, when Brittany gets back, we are going to have to order
I
it.
do want to interrupt you on something, talking about electric. Randy possibly has a line on a grant for more electric chargers. So, I mean, just want to keep that in mind. If we get them, we can add more to our,
Might be nice to put one down at the park too.
well, yeah.
Well,
I mean, we could add one more to the depot. And we could add more. I mean, I don't know what the particulars are on it yet, but just something to keep in mind. So,
Okay. Do we know where we're at with getting started on any of that?
my assumption is as soon as we know where the
property line.
property line is,
Supposed to know that this week.
Wasn't you Matt going to do the boring?
Yeah, that's why I asked. Is Ronnie asked me on the sewer job, little Ronnie,
okay.
about if I knew any expectation or time, because I guess they were boring the power in or something for us.
Well, for some reason, everybody that's put a plan together on that parking lot's moved the stations to the east
Somewhere they got moved from the
from the west end.
west
to the
side
east
of the
end.
lot to the east side, which doesn't make any sense. Cost of wire to run down
Run
that.
further.
Yeah.
When you're coming off that corner, that west corner there, where the power.
Yeah. I don't know where that happened, but we're going to make sure they get back to the west.
Okay. I just thought I didn't know.
Has to do with the aesthetics.
I don't know who. No, I don't know. Anyway, what do you got?
So, where was I? Okay, tree trimming. We got Howard Avenue at 313 Howard Avenue to try to clean up some of them with gumballs or whatever.
Oh, I hate that.
Some of them have still fallen, but it doesn't seem as bad. South Virginia, Market Street, and we've even went into Boozenbark Park and cut some of the dead trees out of the woods, the area around the creek, and tried to clean that up. And there's a few more big trees that Britons have to go in and take down. We have started vacuum storing boxes, and on that, I'm going to keep going on that. As we're going, we're making a list of storm breaks. Some of them are bad. We got a little bit of metal down there, but I probably will have to purchase a little bit of angle iron because we found some of the sides are rotted out of, and we don't want nobody falling through. So we will be purchasing some metal. Probably not a whole lot, but we will be doing some of that. Mark and Alan have got all the mowers are ready, serviced, new blades and everything on. So when the grass goes, we're already ahead of that game. We have one mower that should have been put in the budget last year and didn't get put in there. So it's going to take some serious look at. If not this year, definitely next year. It's got a lot of oil leaks, and now he's thinking the jug is bad on it. That's where the oil leaking's coming from. It's got enough hours on it, you couldn't take it apart and put it back together without total rebuild or a new engine.
So it's time to give us some rest then.
Yeah, so I know the budget's already set, but I think I will take time and get a couple of prices just to see where we're at on a new mower and everything. So that we'll have an idea. And
Yeah, if you can nurse it through this summer, then
well, that's our goal right now, and see what happens when he starts. So he did put a gasket on it. I think finished it up today or in the morning, and then we'll run it and see just where we're at on it. But it's got 20-some hundred hours hard mowing. So, but like I said, all the other mowers are ready. The new water meter down at Well 2 has been installed. I believe Mike and Tony got that done. And everything. That's a lot of the big things we've done. Of course, a lot of, locates, read for transfers and stuff like that. And then the next 2 weeks, we're going to start alleys, grading alleys and getting them up and ready to go. We've been doing some that when there's stump grinders in. And we started that day and then had a hydraulic hose and brake on it. So Alan has all the parts ready to put it back together in the morning. And within the next 2 weeks, we'll have all the restrooms and water on it to park.
What about depot? Where we at down there?
We will have it, water and everything on at the same time.
Okay.
We'll get all that stuff down there. But yes, with ball starting, I guess they're starting a little early this year. But something I guess I need to talk with them on is, the bathrooms aren't heated or insulated, so we can't really push the start of that any sooner. Because it's been if we had it on last week, it would probably froze.
Yeah.
It's concrete, so we can't really go any sooner than the 1st of April. So
They're starting this month?
I think the start week of it's March. Is it March 24th?
Dang.
We always had it after April
Yeah.
for insurance
It's
plus the
usually
water.
cold anyway.
Yeah. So I will kind of reach out and talk to them on that. Make sure they don't push it any closer because we can't chance getting water going on them fountains and all that stuff. And then the only thing I have down on the purchase is the crack seal. You guys got that? That's 2 skids with the machine and everything for 2 weeks. We skipped it last year. So I've noticed a lot of roads. I think it does a lot of good.
Oh, yeah.
In the roads. So
Yeah.
It keeps the water from getting in them.
yeah. So I need your approval of getting that purchased and scheduled.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the only other thing is, and just to let you know, basically the 2015 Chevy got tires wore out, belts were broke. It's going to cost somewhere between about $950, $1,200 depending on where we go, what we go with. And that's also, we're going to get it lined up by. So that'll be something I'll be doing. Already mentioned the metal. So, and then is the seat for the swimming pool, is it supposed to be approved tonight? Or?
It's in with claims, so yes, I got a
Okay,
new
all right.
invoice from
Or I
Alpha.
didn't see it, so I just want
I
to make
will
sure.
have it checked for you tomorrow. We're going to hold it aside, then you can work out the arrangements as far as
Okay, that's
picking
what
that
I was
up.
wanting, so I can make arrangements, somebody go get that
Yep.
in the next few days or whatever and get that back.
Mhm.
And everything. So, outside of that, everything seems to be going well. New guys are working out pretty well, I think. And
I got a question. I don't know if the board may not appreciate this or not, but
Oh, we appreciate anything you have.
yeah. Your sign companies that you deal with street signs,
yeah,
do they have, would they have public restroom signs or anything like that?
oh yeah, I've got a book down there. I could do about whatever you
Why don't you
want.
price us try to find some arrow signs for one, I guess, to let everybody know that the bathrooms down there, the restrooms at the depot.
Okay.
Put something on the square here somewhere. You guys up for that or?
Well, yeah, it's nice to know. Are they on the Main Street, just further down that rabbit hole? Are they on the map, of Main Street's map, the depot restrooms? I don't know if they're on there or
I
not.
don't know if they are or not
I
either.
don't remember
I've got them
seeing
at
that.
the.
Depot's
I'll look
on
at
there,
one,
I think.
huh?
Depot's on there, though, right?
Yeah, but I would. I don't know if they point out the restrooms or not. But yeah, some signage is always good for people that don't know and they got to go.
Well, that's a major complaint around here, and I'm quite frankly tired of talking about it, but we need to do something.
Well-
No, I've got a book. I can get colors. Not anything you want, really.
Anything else? Let me ask a
Go
question.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, on 41 North, I was looking at this thing Brandy sent out dated today. Actually, a weekly inspection forecast on 41 North Sewer. What's the situation on that water line out there? It needs to be moved.
Last time I talked to Structure Point, they were going to get with Scott Pat.
It's their water line,
Well, that's what somebody,
What size is it?
6-inch.
a 6-inch water line. Holy moly! Why would that be Scott's? Well, wait a
Well, the
minute.
only thing.
Which way is it going?
It's going north and south. Now,
But that's that's our water line.
we go down on the west side road, which is on Fairgrounds, and we shoot across north,
Yeah.
the far north entrance. and everything. I don't know. I wasn't involved with the water when this was all installed. My understanding was somebody said that T. Scott had asked for extra fire protection, so they didn't know if that was. I mean, we flushed the hydrant and everything.
But I guess my point is, it belongs. That's an asset of the town of Rockville.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. So I don't know.
So I think we're going to have to
Yeah.
do something.
So is it in the way of a structure?
Oh, yeah, it's going right through almost center punching the new lift station out in front of
Okay,
it.
so what kind of pipe is it?
Looks like plastic,
Okay.
green, that, what do you call that?
Probably C900.
Yeah.
Well, how should we proceed? 'Cause I'm telling you, it's our responsibility, guys. It's our asset.
Number one, we're gonna have to figure out how we can shut it off.
I believe we've already got that figured out.
Okay,
We've been
well,
out there locating, and the only thing we'll have to do on that is get with Scott Pett and see what their stipulation is if water's off or.
So we have 2 lines going to Scott.
Yeah, for saying B&T's the one that put it in. He doesn't remember the one we're dealing with now. He put it across the very far north end of Scott Pett. He come across road, I believe it's 8 or 10 inch coming across the road there. But then if you come back south to the second entrance of the north side of the fairgrounds, there's it teed off there and comes across 6 inch. And there's a fire hydrant and everything right there.
Well, let me just get in my mind. We have
something to keep in mind, if that's fire protection, you're probably gonna have to put a bypass on that and to keep it hot. You know, and I don't know what size line it would take to do that, but
They have some kind of a tank or something inside that holds water.
Okay.
Because when we shut it off, the fire hydrant was still pouring a bunch of water out. And
Okay.
their maintenance guy said that's our water coming
Troy
back.
could probably speak more to that than.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as fire suppression on, I mean, you can't have them shut off,
Right.
or not for very long anyways. I mean, long enough to fix a leak in it or something, but I mean,
Well-
they're not gonna be able to shut it down for days.
how we want to proceed. What's our next step here?
Well, Brian had said he was going to have them, somebody was going to get a quote on what it would take to move it. And once he had that, he would let me know. But again, he was thinking that it was on Scott Pett as well, and said that they didn't think that water line was feeding anything.
But okay, well,
So there was a question of,
well,
can we
any
just
water
cap it?
line we're selling water in is our responsibility.
But it's
So,
not going anywhere. It's not feeding. It's not feeding to any location that they can find.
well, why would it be?
It's like
there?
a secondary water line there.
It actually, the way it is, it comes across to a valve, a shut-off valve. Then it goes back south for about 5 feet, and that's where it ties into the fire hydrant. And then from that valve, it goes back north. And we tried to locate, Mike was out there with us, and we tried to locate where it tees back into that tin. That's what we're thinking it does. But we have never been able to find exactly
Why
where
would
it
you
So do you think it's only feeding a fire hydrant?
We're not sure if it back tees over there too, are we? I mean,
No, I think it feeds her 2 inch water meter.
yeah. So we think it ties back into it. So
Okay, so Brian,
Brian, that's just what came.
well, we
from
don't want to hold anything up in the
contractor.
project on our end, so
Well, they're still pouring pipe and stuff, so we got a little bit of time on it, but.
We got plenty of time. We're
well,
only
the
here
thing about it too
Saturday.
is, I know you want to get prices, but you know, B&T's there. They'd be the ones.
well, yeah. Who should we follow up with? I guess first. Should we follow up with Brian? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I haven't. I
Well, who's
pursued structure.
Brian the one that's putting the quote together?
No, John Lindglade is that project
Inspector.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think talking to him is probably the best. Brian had told me that when we were talking about some other things.
Well, we just need to get it resolved. Figure out.
They
Well,
need
I
a
would
price
get-
on moving it, and then whoever wants to pay for it.
I'd have John Boyer, I'd have B&T look into what a quote would,
Okay, I'll
quote it out
touch.
and-
He's out there tomorrow. I'll touch base with
Okay.
him on that.
Yeah, let's
and,
not
see
let
what
it.
he can come up. I mean, they're there. The machine's there.
Right.
But before he pulls out and has to bring everything back,
Right.
we might as well get a game
Do it
plan.
And you
now.
might check and, or I can ask John if that's who they've contacted for a quote.
Okay.
Because Brian had said they were already trying to get a quote. He thought it was on Scott Pett, so he was going to get the quote, discuss it with Scott Pett.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to be on Scott. It's our asset. It's our water line. I mean, doesn't that make sense to you? Rest
Well,
of it?
yeah, if it's, I mean, if it's before a meter, it just about has to be ours.
I mean, you guys been out there and actually seen it. I mean, is that your conclusion? I mean, it belongs to Rockville, right?
Yeah, I think it belongs to
Yeah,
town.
I mean,
If
Yeah.
it's the north and feeds that, their two water meters.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see why it'd be theirs.
Okay, so we just
Yeah,
need a quote
it's-
to move it, and that's all we need, right?
So
So,
sounds like it.
Okay.
fire hydrant gonna have to be moved also?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, you get hold B&T tomorrow and see what we can get done.
The only other thing is, I don't know if you guys were caught up on it. Still waiting on a phone call. That drain over on Harris Street that we repaired.
Oh yeah. So what happened? It obviously clogged up somewhere.
Yeah, you can look up in there and see something. So I don't know if the pipe where they repaired it has moved, or if the existing pipe 10 is just rotted and another place is sunk through.
I would
So-
say that's probably what happened.
So the board, when you guys were gone, and I'm waiting on infrastructure, who does a lot of our vacuum and stuff. They're supposed to be contacting me on a date and time they can come here. We were going to get it televised to see if it's something we should repair down there at the end again, or is it something that it's rotten and we're going to have to look something bigger in? Because I mean, if we dig it up and repair it again in another year, it falls too similar.
Yeah, we don't want to do a Band-Aid.
So we're getting a camera in. I'm waiting on them to give me a.
How deep is that?
Go down there, it's like 20 some feet down there. To the hole. But I think, honestly, I mean, without, with the box where it drops in and where it floods, I want to say it's only like 5 feet. Why? I mean, of course, that holler was there, so that's probably why it's so deep. So, I mean, maybe I'll come back and find it to where it's not as deep and run it straight out from there. Then, if we ever have trouble later on in life, we can do it. We just have no equipment to get down there
Right.
and do that. But
Okay, so waiting on somebody to get back with you on that.
so, but if we can bring it up at a working level and still get the drain, I recommend doing that. That way, we can take care of ourselves.
We're going to talk about projects here at the bottom of your.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a lot happen last week. You want to talk about it?
Yep, the community crossings for North Michigan, that's awarded milestone. We've got a agreement put together, signed. So that project will be moving forward as soon as we get on their calendar. The community crossings 2023-01, the Anderson Street, that's still, I checked today, it's still under review by NDOT, so that has not been awarded. South Market Street, that contractor bid at $6,005,791.33 with a match of $1,201,158.27. They just updated me and said, tree clearing is complete. They're waiting on a couple of utilities to still be moved as far as AT&T, Sparklight, whoever has the utilities down through there.
What did that start at? 3 or 4?
The original that project was $5 million. Then just a month ago, Structure Point estimated it could be as high as $7 million based on February bids. But it's really good to hear it came in at $6 million. So that was huge. And then the other part of that is we found out late last week. I think Brandy reached out to see if there's any help and funding to cover the additional costs from inflation. And yeah, we got a 20% match or 80% match from them on the whole project. So that saved us another $800,000. So a lot of good news there. At
And we
the
got
end
the
of last week.
additional $362,000 to, on top of that, it just is additional funding from NDOT.
So yeah, it was a good week last week.
Cindy kind of commented a little bit on 41. So ISI, they're moving forward construction. There's the schedule I forwarded. I think I forwarded the schedule to all of you. So I get those on a weekly basis that I can continue to send to you. The water inventory line, I've talked to the guy from 120 Water. I'll have to work with Doug on the submission of those because there's I listened to a phone conference between the guy and Jeff, and Jeff had told him we have some locate information that we could send him, but the guy's not received it, so I really don't know what that information is.
Okay.
But I may forward that recording to you as well,
Okay.
so you can kind of
See
listen
what
to
it
it
is.
and
See what you come up with.
what it is, but we just need to kind of keep moving forward on getting them the information so that they can start an inventory of our water lines. You touched basically quickly on the Jackson Jacks parking lot survey. I talked to Roger last week because he was supposed to have that to me within 2 weeks, and he said I will have it here Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So as soon as I receive that survey, I'll forward that to everybody so that we'll be able to move forward with the design and see what we want to do.
Okay.
So.
Let's update the project financing spreadsheet thing, just if anybody wants to know, this is mainly the two things changed on here would be where the money's coming from for South Market. It reduced dramatically since of the information we got last week. The other, I guess, a negative thing last week, our match on Community Crossing 2022-2 went up about $15,000, and so you can see where the money's coming from on there. But we still have construction inspection on South Market. I'm not real worried about trying to figure it out today. That'll be spread out over the life of the project, but that's something that we will have to pay for, and it's typically 10% of a project. But some numbers to look at in your leisure.
Part of it.
Yeah. So as far as South Market, I mean, mainly this year is just going to be utility relocation and whatnot. They're not going to be breaking any ground per se. And this year, that's my
They are taking the poles out, aren't they? Because isn't that part of the whole discussion?
Oh yeah, they're coming out. I don't know when.
Oh, I thought that was going to happen.
Well, no, we want them there until after the festival.
Okay.
Yeah, see, last I knew, that was the big conversation.
Yeah,
How was
after
gonna
the
get power
festival.
if they were gone.
Yeah, because we won't be able to provide power for the festival without those poles. So that'll be after the festival.
Okay.
No, I
Yeah.
think, well, the gas has been moved. I think IMPA's looking to,
IMPA's got,
Start
well,
to-
probably more today. When I talked to one, they have 7 of their poles set.
I mean, all the tree trimming's been done.
I believe all the tree trimming now, he went back and got the limbs. If not, there's only a limb here or there where the power's going to go through that needs to come down. All the trees are down. We started running the stumps today.
So I don't know what fights in the schedule are. I mean,
Is it fight or foit?
so I'm thinking it's fights.
Fights?
That's what I was
Oh,
told.
we've been
What's his
calling
first
points.
name? I'd just go with that.
Well, Kevin's the last guy that was here. I don't know who'll be here this time.
Kevin Beck, yeah.
And down on there at the south end of Market, right there by the
Culver?
valley where we took all the trees out, that house there is their electric meter is on the utility pole that we're moving in the back.
Mm.
So that makes our responsibility. So when they move the pole back, we're going to set
A
4x4 posts, put in a new meter form and everything. That way it's theirs. Anything happens to that, then it's not us paying for all of it.
How about a 6x6 instead of 4x4?
So whatever you want.
Well,
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that's sturdier.
Yeah.
4x4, I just like a 6x6. Looks better.
Well, the way it is now, if that pole, even the new one, was something happen to that pole and fall or break, then their meter and everything's our responsibility. So
You know?
by putting it over on that, it takes it off of us. So
Suits me. Are you guys done?
I'm done.
Troy, Roy, Bruce, you guys got anything? Or?
Go back to the charging thing, so you're gonna know the property lines? that
This
we're
week,
working on?
we're supposed
So
to.
then Doug, can you get, Ronnie's on vacation, but if you get with me or somebody, so I can let him know that we're rolling forward with it.
Yeah, that boring there on the Jack's lot would be a lot less. Now, I don't know. Originally started off on the west side, somewhere in modification design, got moved to the east side. I don't know, down towards the clock tower, and I don't know why.
I don't either.
There's no need to have them down there. It just costs us more wire and labor and everything.
But while we're talking about that too, I mean, I think everybody's seen the two proposals as far as
Layout.
the layout on it, and I don't want to get in an argument about all the landscaping, but I like Luke Waltz's footprint of that parking lot. If the property line is
Allows
what we think
for
it is, I think it's just going
Well,
to
it looks less like a
better
lot.
deal.
It takes off the rough edges. I mean, it's a nice footprint.
So I mean, we need to figure the plan for the chargers with one or the other of the layouts, and I mean, his footprint looks a lot better than, I mean, if we have the square lot and we end up putting a curb through the middle of it, it's totally ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous.
Curb in the middle.
Well, you're gonna have putting a curb separating where we're at right now, and then have an angle parking on the outside and have a damn curb through it. It's dumb as,
No, yeah.
yeah.
No.
I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
I'm just
I
trying to tell
agree.
you, that's just
I agree.
ignorant.
I agree. Yeah,
Guess we'll find out Wednesday.
we'll find out Wednesday, yeah.
Here, wait.
What else we got?
I just want you to be prepared, is all I'm
I
saying.
can tell.
The compactor out at the
Yeah,
prison lift station, what's the status of it? I had,
we had two quotes, 185,000 for one out there. That's all I can remember. We're gonna wash a compactor, we were looking out there at the Strawberry Lift Station.
so I had a couple of them contact me last week.
Well-
What's going on with it, so.
We need to talk to the prison and the jail and see. Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, who do we talk to out there? You know, Julie's
Might
a
know someone.
superintendent at the prison, but will probably get referred to Indianapolis. They're paying all the bills now out of Indianapolis instead of locally, and all the budgeting's done up there.
Mhm.
How do we proceed?
I like your plan. We need to talk to the sheriff's office and the state.
Who's going to talk to him?
Oh, I'll talk to him. Who do I need to call?
Well,
I need to know
Randy?
what we've had conversation with them before. So what's come out of the conversations?
I
in the past?
If they
can't.
want us to continue taking their waste, they need to help
Well,
us.
yeah, we'll talk
All right.
some more about it. I'll try to find some emails. I mean, Jeff talked to him. Yeah,
Their
they,
excuse last year was if they had known and could get it
They
into
would have
the
budgeted
budget,
for it.
they would budget for it. But they knew about it last year, not in time for the budget. Well, now, did they not think it was still something?
well,
that
they're
we
still in the
needed?
budgetary process. It's not set till June 30th for the next 2 years. So we need to reach out ASAP with them, and that's the bulk of the flow out there by far. I mean, 1,200 and some.
I'm assuming the county end of it, we'd want to be talking to the commissioners and not,
Right.
not personally the sheriff or anybody out there.
Right. Okay.
Council's got the-
So we're.
Well, council.
Let me ask. I can
But
ask
the
a question.
commissioners are gonna be the ones that say yes or no.
We're
so-
replacing brushes on the clarifiers down there. So I know that was in another thing I've been looking at as far as the cost, but we are doing that. We approved that.
Yeah, let's
Yes.
approve, yeah.
Yes.
That's the process.
Okay.
We've got redevelopment tomorrow. We can say something to Roy,
Yeah, we do.
Roy and John.
Tom, what are you here for?
I'm just observing tonight.
Oh, okay.
Just observing. See how it goes up here.
Okay.
I'm
How's it going? How's it going?
Sounds like you know what you're doing.
Well, we have our
Well, thanks
days.
for the vote of confidence.
Take it till you make
You
it.
got good help.
Yeah,
That's what it takes, doesn't it?
yep,
Yeah.
exactly right. Well, any old business?
Let me look.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yes. One more
There's
thing.
nothing on there.
and we've been talking about this for 10 years. The alley, the post office alley. I had a little old gal. She ran me down to ask me about.
Did she run you down?
Well, no, not literally. But yeah, that south end there, west end, where you drop down. It's a mess. We know it is. We've looked at it for years.
Didn't Roger even, they did a design, because they were gonna do the
Inverted. Yeah, we need to look at that. And
It does not qualify, didn't we find?
oh, it
out?
doesn't qualify community crossing grant money because it's an alley. I think we should just concrete the thing. I think we
Could
could
we
look.
make it a street?
We could look at the cost between concrete and blacktop, but we need an engineer. We need a design and
And
get
he
some
didn't
costs.
complete that?
I don't know. I guess I'll see Roger Wednesday morning. I'll ask
Thought he
him,
did.
or I can email him.
Those mailboxes being on the alley doesn't trigger any help from the post office.
No. But yeah, that's something anybody else disagree?
No,
No, it's bad like that.
Needs done.
I think everybody's cutting through the library for the.
Well, I mean, whoever designed it first time put that drain right in a tire track. So it's a constant, and then we're repairing it,
Yeah.
and it's just, it definitely needs something.
That's what scared this gal. She was
Yeah.
afraid she's gonna fall in. Somebody might someday.
Yeah. Yeah, we've repaired that. But like I said, you take the trash truck, everything going over that little
Yeah.
metal grate, it's a lot on it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Got any new business you want to talk about?
No, I don't want to bring up any new things right now.
But that's the question, Steve.
Way too much.
I made a motion to adjourn. Oh, wait a
Whoa, whoa,
minute.
whoa, whoa.
Public
Hang
Cut
on.
public comment, yeah.
Yeah, hang on.
Okay.
Park,
Me down?
Park
Yep.
Junior.
Couple things. Can I get a hold of Jeremy? And you guys say it was okay to go ahead and get 3 treatments this coming year? The lime, a weed and feed, or weed, and then whatever else we can do to.
I'm good with it. You guys know your budget, so, I
Well, he
mean,
said it came in at $2,200, but he said, he'd probably do it for 2, and the line for 14, so you're probably talking about, what is that, $5,400, something like that for total,
Well, we had 5,000 in there for the outside services.
right?
So yeah, it pretty much covers it.
Okay, I'll get ahold of him. Number 2, and we'll go, UMAX here, is we're getting into fire season, spring, summer. The fire hydrant by Roger's house doesn't work, hasn't worked. Is that on tap to get replaced?
Is that, I don't know, it's probably in our water grant. We had hydrants in
Important to
that.
me, I guess.
Well, it's a good point. And we make sure it's in
Isn't
this,
that across from you? Yeah.
yeah, there's several items like that in this water project we just received $700,000 for. Whether or not that one's in there,
Didn't we have a thing with UMAC where you had done so many, you'd done 10 meters and you were gonna replace some more, or did you already get those done?
yeah, they were working on some, I don't know the status of that project.
No pressure, just reminder.
I don't remember, I think we had I thought we did the hydrants that needed to be, that were approved.
You probably haven't done it. That's been a while back.
how big a hydrant is it?
Fire hydrant.
I mean, is it a steamer, or is it like a 2.5 45s, or?
Got 3.
It's got 3 or 2.
nozzles on it. In fact, one of them leaking has got an icicle on it this morning.
So,
And beyond that, got one more thing after that. and then-
so it's probably got 2 2.5s and a 4.5.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't
Don't
remember.
get full flow, but at least.
I'll look in I've got a copy of the water
What's the
grant
water main down there? 6
project.
inch?
Down, I'd
Jack.
say it would be a 6 inch.
Okay.
Not right on hand, but, I know they were supposed to come in and change the one on Strawberry Road, but they come in and spotted it to get the water line size for sure and all that. But I'm not sure how many more they had.
I have to get with Ronnie on that.
Yeah, so, but,
Then the only other thing, guys, is that I know the Jackson Street and the Voorhees Street project will probably be a year, maybe 2 years away. And that the storm board had recommended that if we're gonna dig that big hole, we need to put sewers in there too, and new water lines. I think, I'll tell you how important that is, because I have spent upwards of $30,000 keeping the town of Rockville sewer out of my basement. These are not color pictures. I realized a 4-inch rain, boy, that was like, biblical, 4 inches.
Yeah, it was.
I'm being snarky. And the sewer on Jackson Street, I mean, and that $30,000 does not include the furniture, the appliances, the refrigerator, the freezers that had to be yanked out of it too. This one probably, luckily, those little floor alarms, I didn't hear it, my wife did. And we got down there real quick, got the pump going, and it actually overwhelmed I've got a check valve. Spent about $8,000 putting a check valve down in the ground to keep that out of there. And luckily got it to work. Doug showed like up in 15 minutes. But that's just an example of what I'm saying. When it comes to doing this project, we need to get these sewers replaced. The intrusion is just phenomenal. What do you say, 5 million gallons?
yeah, we were, what,
4, I think.
$4 or $5 million over, or
Yeah,
gallon.
Gallons.
yeah.
And all that manholes down Jackson Street at that ring were full.
They're almost bubbling up like corks.
We had to go over to Voorhees to find one that was even down, and all the way over to Erie to make sure that we didn't have a plug, and it was full.
Well, that brings up,
It was amazing.
good time to segue into, we approved 3 meters putting in, to measure flowage at different pump stations.
Okay.
Was that what meeting was that? 2 meetings ago? Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head who's installing those.
I don't know what meters you're talking about. I know we used.
Well, they're flow meters.
I think they did that last week, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
is that-
it was
yeah.
actually using the existing Omni-Site system you have.
Yeah.
I think we may have had to add a couple different places, but that would monitor hours and they would do drawdown tests. So daily we could see what lift station is doing what, how
Okay.
many gallons is pumping. in these rain events, you could kind of, that was the first step, was narrowing it down from there.
Right.
And then if one area's getting more, then we could go further and look further. Yes, that's what that is.
So those are installed.
We did it last week.
So who's collecting the data? Or how's it being
I
collected?
would have to get with somebody, Doug or somebody, whoever, get the password and we can see what it is on the, I can collect it daily, anybody can get on the.
Well, you know, the stormwater board's wanting to use that, and also the sewer.
We are writing on a daily basis every day. We open the control panels on the lift stations, on the big ones, and we write down the reading, so we could tell, you know, if we write down the reading tomorrow at 8 o'clock and it pours down, in the next morning we can tell how much more from the rain that we got.
Well, then we
versus
need
a
to take
regular.
that and put it in a spreadsheet.
The only lift station we don't have that on is 36. They don't have the. All the rest of them have it.
Bill
36.
Brown's?
Huh?
Bill Brown's?
No, 36 East.
Oh, East.
Bill Brown, Strawberry Road in Virginia all has
I
that.
thought they were supposed to put that one on. They're supposed to have them all covered, so.
Was that in the one you got approved?
Yeah, the only one that wasn't, was going to be done, I think, was the little one,
O'Reilly?
O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that.
Because all the lift stations have it other than,
Yeah.
well, other than Strawberry Road and Voorhees. And those are just a single pump. But that one, O'Reilly's, I'm telling you, when it rains, it gets a lot of water. That thing's high flow for a long time.
So that's the first step, is if we can narrow down what area of town based off of the lift station, then we could actually get flow meters and put in manholes and start tracing it back, even smoke testing and things like that, to get a plan, you know, a big plan of like how to fight this I&I.
Yeah.
What area of town do you need to concentrate on? Because I tell you, I've seen a lot of projects, Doug, you probably, or Dave, sorry, but you spend a ton of money and you just don't get rid of the I&I. I mean, we did it up in Kingman, we spent over $1 million, and what's the percentage of reduction? 5?
Yeah.
I mean,
5%?
yeah, I mean,
Wow.
you just spend tons of money, so you want to make sure you try to put it where it needs to go.
Well, that's critical also to satisfy IDM when they come out and they want to see our plan. This is part of our plan to try to address I&I, and hopefully we'll actually be able to address it with this data. Okay.
So we're working on it. I can get with Doug on that. I think I have the password. I can, but all that is, they're supposed to do a drawdown test, and we did it to show how many gallons per minute those pumps pump. And then they kind of, the program puts it into gallons, so you can see daily, every day from 12 to 12, it's clockwork. It'll break it down and see how many gallons each pump pumps. So it's kind of a good tool to have.
Yep. You make a motion?
I did.
Hour ago?
You got a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you all for coming.